Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Here to talk all about the changes that are coming to Halo as a franchise. And I understand a lot of you guys think Halo is absolutely washed and there's no coming back for Halo. Halo peaked about a decade ago, over a decade ago if you look at Halo 3 or Halo Reach as the peak. However, I personally did sink a lot of time into Halo Infinite, believe it or not. It is actually, I think, one of my most played games on Steam. I have like over 200 hours in the game, which for me is a lot, given I'm always jumping from game to game. I really enjoyed it and had a good time with it. I think they misfired by not having a lot of content right off the rip, and ultimately a game peaks at launch, and then it's very hard to return to that peak. However, Infinite has been rolling out new content, but now, going into the future, Halo is going to be evolving quite a lot. New name, new engine, new games, and a new philosophy. I know a lot of you guys are probably going to be like, alright bro, why are you buying into this hype? I'm not buying into the hype, I'm just bringing you guys the news, and it is a new chapter for Halo. Can they come back? I am very skeptical on anything Microsoft related these days. I feel like Microsoft has left very little reason to be optimistic about any of their ongoings. I feel like 343 as a studio has left little reason to be optimistic, especially even though I enjoyed Halo Infinite. They did fumble with that, and it was delayed for a year, and it's just a clown show in a lot of regards, in a lot of instances. But it was noted on the Xbox news page ahead of the final match at today's 2024 Halo World Championships, we saw an unexpected video. It depicted landscapes you might expect from the Halo series, Forerunner architecture jutting from dramatic landscapes inspired by the Pacific Northwest, gorgeous fields of ice, even a vista blighted and consumed by the flood. We, of course, saw glimpses of the Master Chief and his iconic enemies, even a Banshee arcing past the camera. But what we saw wasn't a look back. This was something entirely new. We're entering a new dawn for Halo. Those new visuals were created using Unreal Engine 5, and we learned that all future Halo projects will use the engine, and the multiple new games using it are in development. Multiple new games, so keep that in mind. I would imagine the fact anytime I hear about a franchise and they say multiple new games are in development, I'm immediately going to think, with the climate of the industry, one of these games is a remake. One of these games, and that makes all the sense in the world. Whether it be Halo 1, 2, or 3, I imagine it would be Halo 1, but doing Halo remake projects, all aboard, sign me up. I get it that we got Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, Halo 2 Anniversary, etc., but the games featuring a full-on ground-up remake, I think that would be fantastic. Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary came out in, what was it, 2012? That was an Xbox 360 game. You could certainly do... I mean, we're getting remakes of 360 games. Hell, we're getting remakes of PlayStation 4 gen titles in Assassin's Creed 4 coming out. So, remaking Halo 1, no big deal there as far as it being an original Xbox game. And I'm sure that the next main Halo game is in development as well. Hopefully they could tie in one of those projects to be a launch title for the next Xbox, because they fumbled the bag when it comes to that with Halo Infinite, delaying that game for an entire year. They continue alongside the engine changes. The studio is seeing changes in culture, workflow, and how its teams are organized. To match that new approach, franchise stewards 343 Industries are changing their name. Halo Studios is here. Studio head Pierre Hintz defines this less like a clean break and more like a turning of the page. If you really break down Halo down, there have been two very distinct chapters. Chapter 1, Bungie. Chapter 2, 343 Industries. Now, I think we have an audience which is hungry for more. I think a lot of people would agree Chapter 2 was kind of a flop, but I digress. So we're not just going to try to improve the efficiency of development, but the change in the recipe of how we make Halo games. So we start a new chapter today. I think improving the efficiency of development across the board would be incredibly important for a lot of studios, but I get it, these games take time in the oven. Switching from the studio's proprietary Slipspace engine to Unreal is a key part of that change. Previously, 343 Industries needed a large portion of its staff simply to develop and upkeep the engine its games ran on. We believe that the consumption habits of gamers have changed. The expectations of how fast their content is available on Halo Infinite. We were developing a tech stack that was supposed to set us up for the future and games at the same time. As gaming evolves and players increasingly point out how long it takes to see new games from their favorite series, the team at Halo Studios felt the need to react. Great that a publisher or a development studio is actually reacting to this. I feel like this is an issue that we've had for close to a decade at this point, 6-7 years at the very least. I'm sorry, I get it that these games take longer and longer to develop for, but the scale of these games have just gotten crazy, and I would argue the games haven't objectively gotten better. 5 years for Sucker Punch to do a Ghost of Tsushima sequel or a follow-up title? Bro, I love Ghost of Tsushima, but I loved Infamous, and we got a sequel for Infamous in 2 years, and Infamous, I would say, is at the quality level of Ghost of Tsushima. Maybe not in terms of scale, but it's not all about scale, and I just think that's been a real issue in gaming in totality. There's a legitimate concern, not to get a little morbid here, but if a game trilogy starts now and they announce, I don't know, Mass Effect, the next Mass Effect trilogy is gonna start, bro, like, it might take 25 years for that trilogy to wrap up with how game development is going these days. You might not make it to see the trilogy wrap up. That is a reality that we face in game development these days because these games take so long to develop for. I mean, I hate to get morbid like that, but they need to expedite the development, and if that means scaling the games back, figuring out what can AI, I don't know. That's not my line of knowledge, but I look at it from the late 2000s, early 2010s, and you don't realize the good old days were there until they're gone. So, yeah, those were, in fact, the good old days. Naughty Dog putting out a game every, 6 years. I mean, they were pumping out the Uncharted trilogy every 2 years, and I would say those games are better than the games now. Alright, but continuing on with this post, the way we made Halo games before doesn't necessarily work as well for the way we want to make games for the future. So part of the conversation we had was about how we help the team focus on making games versus making the tools and engines, alongside the wider changes to how the studio is set up, which they have more information on that. I won't get into that. Adopting Unreal means Halo Studios is more able to create games with a focus that can satisfy fans, even setting up multiple teams to create different games simultaneously. But Unreal also comes with built-in benefits that would have taken years to work on to replicate with Slipscape. Respectfully, some components of Slipspace are almost 25 years old. Although 343 were developing it continuously, there are aspects of Unreal that Epic has been developing for some time which are unavailable to us in Slipspace and would have taken huge amounts of time and resources to try and replicate. One of the primary things we are interested in is growing and expanding our world so players have more to interact with and more to experience. Nanite and Lumen Unreal's rendering and lighting technologies offer us an opportunity to do that in a way that the industry hasn't seen before. As artists, it's incredibly exciting to work with. Another benefit is familiar to parts of the wider gaming industries where developers would have to spend time learning how to use Slipspace when joining 343. Halo Studios' adoption of the industry-leading engine makes it far smoother process to bring in new talent, and the studio is indeed hiring for its new projects now. So that is everything. There's more information there, but let's just say that they've reiterated the fact that there's multiple Halo games in development, and I hate to get too optimistic about Microsoft because, guys, I could dig up some of the messages that I was sending to my boys before this generation started, and I was very, very optimistic about Microsoft. I just thought a lot of people were writing them off, and I thought, with them acquiring all these studios, having Game Pass is such an insane value, etc., that this was gonna be a turning point for Microsoft. And guess what? I've been disappointed, just to an insane degree, that it's hard for me to be optimistic about Microsoft. And they have a lot of franchises under their umbrella that are beloved. Halo, Fable, Forza, Gears of War E-Day is coming. This new Fable game I'm a little skeptical on, but fingers crossed it turns out well. And now Halo making a needed shift and having multiple games in development. It leaves me to be still skeptical, but at least there could potentially be some light there. But man, with Microsoft these days, I just don't know. Avowed got delayed, and that game was announced in 2020. Fable was announced in 2020, and these games just never come out. They never had. Xbox this generation has not had a single year where I thought they crushed it from an output standpoint. Starfield was a flop. I mean, comparatively to Bethesda standards, this year, what do we got? Hellblade 2? Come on now. Come on. Avowed getting delayed next year? Is that finally going to be the year, or are we still cooked? Are we going to get, Avowed next year? Or is that game going to be cooked? Are we going to get Fable next year? I foresee Fable getting delayed with all the delays Microsoft handles. Gears of War E-Day, that would be great to see next year, but I just don't know when it comes to them. But at least they have multiple Halo games in development, and I think more than anything, they need to at least set up next gen for something, something for them to rebuild themselves. But I just think, as far as the console market goes, it's looking pretty dire for them. But, you know, their games come to PC. That's why I'm covering this, and it'll be interesting to see the future of Halo. It's still a behemoth of an IP, and I just think one high-quality release will reframe Halo as an IP. Halo is not at the level that it was when Halo 3 and Halo Reach came out when I was growing up, but I always think that there's a chance for an IP as big as Halo to, you know, reframe itself as being, oh my god, Halo's back. And all it takes is one high-quality game with a lot of momentum. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.